when we're specifically working on moments that are intended to be horrific or terrifying, there are lots of challenges with those things. On the third version of Dead Space, or fourth if we include Dead Space Extraction, people have seen the enemies. They know what they look like. So many people are desensitized to what once was really frightening. The first time you saw a slasher in Dead Space, it was like, wow, what is that? And so you immediately get, your adrenaline pops up and you have a reaction. By the third time, you've seen those enemies. So now, what do you do next to kind of keep them excited or keep them on the edge of their seat? And I think that really, in itself, is an art to try to keep people off their guard. So you're looking at the pacing of when you lay out encounters. I like to think of it sometimes like music. So perhaps in one part of the game, you're scaring people on a cadence of, on the 2s and the 4s in terms of music. That's when you're going to get them with the big punches, the big scare moments. But then you want to mix it up, and maybe now on the 1s and the 3s, you want to pop out and scare them. But there's so much more to making a scary game. It's not just about things jumping out of closets at you. It's about tension. It's about the absence of action, like the points where nothing's happening, right? You walk into a room, and it's super noisy and things are clanging around and you're like, okay, something's going to happen in here. And then all the sound stops. And at that moment, you're like, uh-oh, okay, now something's really going to happen in here. But you don't do anything, right? You don't need to do anything at that point because you've already kind of changed the feeling and emotion of the player at that point. They're kind of ready for something. So let's say you don't do anything for the next few minutes and they leave that room and they continue through an area and it's completely quiet. And they get to a point eventually where they're like, oh, I guess nothing's going to happen in here. Then you want to scare them. Then you hit them with something when their guard's down. Like figuring that timing out and playing with that is just something that you have to nuance and noodle with and play around with. And you have to observe people playing the game. There's no formula on how to actually create something that's scary.